The airbags are off. The glass shards. This is real. It's all falling upside down. The car's going, wah, 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 wah. And he says, well, that could have gone better. Everything you think won't happen is all the things that happen at a racetrack. I mean, it's crazy shit. A real sidebar story before I go to the core story. The track's brand new, and I'm doing ride-alongs with people and ripping around the track, and then sometimes they'll say, hey, you jump in your car and you follow me. So I did that with this guy, and we're ripping around the racetrack, and we get off of the racetrack and pull into the pits, and he jumps out of the car and he goes, oh my God, that was amazing. But my dog threw up all over the place. I said, what? He said, yeah, I had my dog in the right seat and he was throwing up everywhere on the way. So there's this one story that I heard about from my staff, and we have a CCTV system that's around the racetrack so we can watch what's going on and everything that's happening. So they send me a clip of this video, and this guy is coming down out of the carousel in turn 6, and full speed, full gas. Turn 6 is 120-degree turn, very aggressive turn. Full speed, down, never lifting, hits the guardrail. There was a little bump that was there from some washout that had happened. And, you know, this is a 1 in a million thing. Hits it, makes it as a ramp, jumps, and flips over and lands upside down on the racetrack like a turtle. Car's rocking like this. Now, here's the story of what happened. So the guy is out on the racetrack, and he's pissed because people aren't driving fast enough. So we have his in-car video. So we have out-of-car video. We have his in-car video. So he thinks, okay, I'm going to get off the racetrack, pit, wait for the goons to go by, and then go back out on the racetrack. Well, so he gets back out on the racetrack, and as he's going out, pit out, and accelerating, he hits the windshield wipers. So he's driving on the racetrack and he's cussing, and we have, again, the in-car video. Like, I can't get the damn windshield wipers off. So he's still driving, you know, around, comes out of the carousel, still trying to get the windshield wipers on. He looks up, he goes, oh, no, 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 no. Instead of hitting the gas, he pins it, panics, hits the bump, hits the wall, flips over, turtles. The airbags are off. The glass shards. This is real. It's all falling upside down. The car's going, wah, 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 wah. And he says, well, that could have gone better. So then I took the out-of-car video and the in-car video and then put them together with Dukes of Hazzard, just a good old boy, and showed it to my staff. And literally, I showed my kids, and I was laughing so hard I couldn't breathe. And my kids were like, Daddy, you okay? You okay? And I'm just pouring just tears of laughter with this guy because it was just this, you know, I'm faster, better than all of them. Puts it into the wall, and his line of, well, that could have gone better was fucking awesome. You know, this guy that had crashed his car, he was out there with the track day. So track day is where people can come in, and a group like Just Track It or those guys come, or Jayzilla come and rent the track, and then they sell seats to be able to drive your car out there. We have member days that the general public's not allowed in. That's our country club side. And so this was one of those track days. So on a lot of times in track days, like this guy was probably a beginner or intermediate, and they put him into run groups, and it's beginner, intermediate, and advanced, and they have sign-off protocols. And so he thought he was a hot shoe and ripping down pit road to let the slow people go by and turtles the car and jumps the wall. It's interesting because there's not a lot of crashes at a racetrack, and everybody signs all kinds of waivers, and we have signs at the gate that says you can die or be injured. And it's funny, it's I'm not saying it's safe, but in context, it's definitely safer than being out on 400. Much more fatalities and injuries and deaths, and knock on wood, we've been exceptionally lucky over the last almost 12 years of operating. If you crash it, it's on you. And the worst part is, if you hit one of our walls when you crash, you get a bill. So it is so painful to go to these guys or gals, go, hey, I'm so sorry you just totaled your car that your insurance is not going to cover. And here's a bill for $4,000 for guardrail that you're going to have to pay. Or $4,500 because there's oil everywhere and we have to do cleanup. And this is a pass-through cost. It's not a revenue stream for us. And it's a nightmare because you have to take all the guardrail down and make sure the edges are straight and all this stuff. So we pass that along, and we've seen very wealthy people in the fetal position over this. I mean, I've seen so many cars in walls. We had one member, GT3 RS, 500 miles in it. First lap comes through 16, which is a diabolical turn at our track. It's very advanced, very tough. Turns in early, loses control, and just 3 sides this car. Totaled. All airbags are off. I mean, everything. Totals it. And he's like, well, I don't know, no big deal. 3 weeks later, shows up in a McLaren, hits the turn before that, turn 15, which we still to this date have never had anybody hit. And this guy has been banned from Chin and Porsche Club and all these other tracks. And so that was kind of when he hung up his helmet, because $300,000 cars back then in a wall within a couple weeks. Unbelievable. So we opened the racetrack, and again, I mean, when you open something that's quite a few times the size of a shopping center, you're going to have all sorts of drainage issues. So we had Porsche Club there, and it had to be the first month or two that we had opened. And we had this big torrential downpour. Well, turn 6 is very much a valley, and it's a low part in the racetrack. Within 20 minutes, 30 minutes, it was a good 8-9 feet underwater. Like, not 2 feet, not a foot. Like, you could not stand and your head not be completely underwater. And so there was what's called an ST2 drain in that corner over there outside of the track, and we have what's called a lull that we can pick up race cars. It's like a giant forklift that can reach out. So I said, I've got an idea. There's a manhole cover on top of that, and that is not blocked. So let me jump in the water, and it's colder than a witch's titty. And I'll go down there to the manhole cover and take this hook that we found, metal hook, and hook it into the manhole cover and jump in and put the lull over there, and we'll pop the lid off of it. So I strip down in my underwear and dive in with this hook with a chain connected to it. I go down and I find it, and I can feel the pressure of the water. And I stick my finger, I'm trying to find the holes, stick my finger, and it goes. I said, I don't want to be down here when we do this. I guarantee it's going to be a lot of pressure, a lot of water flowing through this thing. So I hook it into one of the holes and come out, and we back the lull up, and the lull pulls, and it pops this lid off. And when it pops the lid off, just like you would think would happen, turns into a giant whirlpool. Done. I mean, it drained that turn 2 minutes completely. And we're talking, think of multiple giant swimming pools, like Olympic swimming pools of water, just out of this drain and into that. And so it was quite funny, quite scary seeing it, because I would have been sucked in there if I would have just said, hey, just pull it, I'll stand by the chain, So it drained it, but we fixed a lot of those issues. When we first opened, a couple weeks before, we had Cadillac there, and we still had piles of dirt on the left or right side of the track because we didn't have a lot of money. And we're just trying to fix it, trying to pull everything together. So it's really interesting looking in the rearview mirror and the changes and the things that have happened over the years there, because we're just constantly trying to improve things and just make it better for the members.
I start most of my days browsing Auto Tempest for my next bad decision of a car, but did you know that supporting Auto Tempest can also help support all the great content that they support in the automotive YouTube world? I know that you've probably enjoyed a lot of videos that they supported and a lot of channels that they've been sponsoring for years, perhaps without even knowing it. So check them out now at the link in the description below. It is the most powerful way to shop for your next car, because you'll see all the listings showing up in one search, and you can search by any criteria that you want, but it also helps make automotive YouTube a much better place. So check them out now, autotempest.com, all the cars, one search.